Donald Trump is not the first American president to call Iran the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. And he's also not the first American leader Iranians will have accused of the same thing.
Current American officials, they have an aggressive personality. It's very wild and aggressive, and even American people are afraid of that.
No, in my opinion, Iran is not a supporter of terrorism. In fact, it's against terrorism, and Iran doesn't support any terrorists.
Iran is one of the most sanctioned countries in the world. And if the White House has its way, it could get worse. People of all ages are frustrated at being isolated from the global marketplace with which they wish to engage. But that is not all they're worried about. Iranians have real security concerns and are worried that the trading of insults between Washington and Tehran will turn into the trading of blows. The Association for Defending Victims of Terrorism is a Tehran-based support group for survivors and the families of victims of attacks carried out on Iranian soil. Men and women in this room help each other to cope with the loss of loved ones, but they also want to raise awareness about the fact that Iran's death toll from acts of terror numbers in the thousands. Over the years, there have been shootings, bombings, and even a suicide attack by armed gunmen on Iran's parliament. The government blames separatist groups backed by its enemies, including the United States. Iran also blames Israel for a series of targeted killings of nuclear scientists between 2010 and 2012. The chance to share their experiences with a sympathetic Western ear is a rare opportunity. Tommy Sands is a musician from Northern Ireland, visiting Iran for the first time. He said he hopes creating dialogue will help Iran and the West overcome differences.
People who suffer and are in pain are brothers and sisters everywhere. There's that connection immediately. The word terrorism is one which we hear a lot about. We heard that in the Western media, we hear that Iran supports terrorism all over the Middle East. Now, these are victims of terror against Iran, which that terror is supported by the West. So it's a very different view than normally presented to us. Here today, it's very special. It's very special.
No pain, nor the anguish of aging, you will always be young and beautiful.
As men and women share stories of loss, Sands offers some hope in the best way he knows how. In a small Tehran office, the sound of music, muffling the unrelenting beating of war drums, at least for a little while. Zein Basravi, Al Jazeera, Tehran.